Hey guys, welcome to Code Part Time. In this video, we are going to see how to write a computer program. We use the computer so that they can work for us and carry out our instructions. And it's not just electricity that keeps it alive. The computer will execute as it is instructed to. That's why the task is needed to be broken down and explained in a series of detailed steps. So what is a computer program? A computer program is a list of instructions for the computer to perform. They can be an application or software that is a collection of many unique text lines. Computers are the only ones who understand them. The smallest apps may contain around 100 or so lines of text in them. At the same time, the largest apps may have billions. This unique text is called as code. Code is a set of step-by-step instructions like a formula or a recipe. It tells computers what to do with data that is provided for which it is available. Data is any piece of information that a computer can hold in its memory which may come in handy for various analysis or calculations. All the programs used by a computer are collectively called software, like browsers, applications, editors, and so on. All the fundamental components of a computer are called hardware, like the mouse, keyboard, monitors, and similar ones. We learned earlier that computers understand everything in zeros and ones, which is essentially called binary code. However, it is difficult for us humans to write out directions in binary code, so we found a better way to solve this query. It's more kind of an intermediate solution that we created. We made a program to translate our thoughts for a computer to understand better. Instructions are written to the computer in a partly English language and partly containing a machine's connotations. It's called a programming language. Since the computer cannot directly understand it, the programming language we use must be translated into binary code before execution. This translation stage is called compiling and is done by a program called a compiler. You see, compilers did not exist earlier, as the early programmers wrote programs in machine language, which is the binary code. Like computers evolved based on their generations, the programming languages that run on them have developed too accordingly. They are divided into eras to indicate the increasing power of programming techniques. The first generation programming language required the user to provide instructions to the computer in binary. It's called machine level language. The second generation was written in code very similar to machine language and needed to be compiled before use. It only worked for a particular version of a computer. The third generation languages were high level languages. They were machine independent and could be compiled to run on various versions of computers. This is where the machine independency started to take off. The fourth generation languages became very similar to English statements and are mostly used in database programming and scripts today. Fifth generation languages contain various visual tools to help developers develop programs. These are most commonly used for creating artificial intelligence applications. They are based on an assemblage of rules rather than instructions. Let's look at the concepts to consider before we start writing a computer program. If a task is considered a list of instructions, a programmer's job is to develop this list of instructions in a computer language. These instructions are essential to direct the computer to manipulate objects like numbers, images, words, sounds, etc. Let's look at the steps before we start writing a computer program. We ought to understand what we expect the software to do precisely before starting to write a program. To do so, we must ask ourselves relevant questions. First one is describing the problem. What is the mission that needs to be carried out? The second one is defining the user. Who would use this software and what is their profile? The third one goes decide the goal machine. What sort of computer will it run on? iOS, Android, or anything else? And the fourth question is which is the right programming language to be used? If we have answered the first three questions, the final step will become even more straightforward. Let's say we are assigned the job of turning on the light. What would you think if you were to demand your maid to turn on the light? Probably, dude, turn the light on, it's dark here. Now consider the probability that your friend is a robot. Is there a minor difference in your statement? What if your robot buddy asks you, what do you mean by switch or turn on or which light? You'd have to be more precise than that. Let's try to get a more profound idea of what we expect the robot to do. First, get up from where you are sitting and go to the place where the switchboard is. Second, look at the switchboard. Find that one particular switch that switches on that specific light. Third, pick up one of your hands. Fourth, make a fist and point a finger outwards. Fifth, press the switch and better check if you switched on the light. If not, try the other switch. Well, you see, that's better. Now we are trying to get somewhere. But it's already a long way from ideal. These moves, which we discussed, are likely to make us believe that we thoroughly described to the robot. But in fact, the robot could get frustrated with these instructions and probably start throwing errors. Now let's assume that we are simplifying robot errors in the context of direct queries. The robot could be trapped in positions like this. How can the robot know if it's sitting or standing or moving? How will the robot figure out if the switch in the switchboard is by default on or off? How to press a switch or how much force should be applied to a switch that makes it turn on and avoid smashing it? Remember, our robot buddy is no more than a machine, and this machine is going to perform exactly as you advise and none more or less. Writing a computer program is as much as an art as an ability. Okay, let's do it again. Let's begin with easy steps now. Let's make our code goal to make our robot shift one step to its right initially. Here we go to the instructions. If the body's part till hip is vertical to the ground and knees are 90 degrees bent with no back pressure on its legs, the robot is sitting. So get ready to stand up. Bend your knees such that the whole body is vertical to the ground. Back pressure on the feet is same as the mass of the robot. Now our robot is standing. Say the words, I stood up. Pick up your right leg and place it 20 centimeters to the right of your current position along a linear path. Now move your left leg and put it next to your right, assuming your original spot. Say the words, I have moved to my right. Stop executing. It's essential to realize that the robot must already know what back pressure is, its weight, height, and right leg mean, how far 20 centimeter is, what the linear path looks like, and several minute specifics. Details like this need to be stored in the machine's memory for our instructions above to be executed. This is how, in a nutshell, a program works. You have to figure out which pieces you will need for the puzzle. Try to break down the problem into as many small parts as possible. There will be times when you will stun to know a simple thing can have so many breakable parts, or we can say many factors couple up together in a perfect manner to perform such a minute and simple operation. Software is one of the few places where you can produce anything of high value without using many raw materials. The ultimate brain teaser is to code. When you are writing code, the last shred of intellect, imagination, dedication does not go waste. Trying to work things out and bringing them together correctly will get you so close to your ability that you will feel like you might reach out and explore it. It's just when you start to get the hang of it, when you walk into a project, those days won't be far to see a problem you have solved before and part of the solution just pops out of your head. And then you become an invincible beast of code. You begin typing as quickly as your keen mind allows and everything is in order. Each piece is polished. You bring in the final product and embrace your peers' administration. But there will be occasions where you are faced with a dilemma that you have no idea how to solve, where to start, or how to code. And trust me, this too is sweet. And it's interesting to read. You will start exploring, start reading question and answers, browse through posts and old forum threads, copy snippets, compile and debug code, and you will have it figured out before you even know it. Let's look at the pieces of stuffs we require for coding. First thing, a computer. We definitely require a computer for coding, a code editor, or of the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. For scripting, you may think of it as using MS Excel. It lets you run the code and improve it. A compiler or interpreter. It's a program that compiles or interprets data. It reads the code, checks for errors so that it can warn you, compile it into a tidy little file, and then sends it to the machine to run. It does many other things too, but these are the things you need to know about right now. The internet. Some might suggest there is no need for that, but you do require an internet connection so that you can use Google or Bing search engines. When there is something you don't understand, you look for it. If the code makes out an error, you Google it to see what remedies are available. And lastly, focus. It is truly essential because the quality of our code will totally depend on it, and it certainly will if you go down the programming path. Avoid being part of unnecessary conversations and ignore BS talks. Let's talk about algorithms. In terms of an algorithm, the best coders understand problems in a sequence of steps used to do a particular task. Even though the specifics are different, when you learn to care about algorithms, it is subordinate to the programming language. It isn't about the keywords and symbols you use at the end. It is about the processes that you describe. Using of flowcharts to break down a problem into sequence of simple steps is the best way to get started. The classification of our robot friend we discussed is like a straightforward algorithm. You would be expected to read about certain things such as variables like naming of your data, methods, property you access with a dot, logical branches and comparisons, loops, while loop, for loop, objects, pieces of data all organized together, functions, property of an object or it can be an element of an array, APIs, bundled up set of properties and methods, scopes with many more of them. Look, it's okay if these do not make any sense at all in the beginning. Start with any one of the language. We will discuss later which language we can use because different languages are used for different various activities. But it's more important to get started with any one at first. You can get started with any one of these languages like Python, Java, C++, Kotlin or JavaScript. It will make your understanding of algorithms clearer. Once they are, you can proceed with object-oriented programming in that specific language and their advanced versions. Everything will get more apparent along the way, and you will notice how nicely things are connected. Who knows, one day you might build a project which the whole world may use. Hurdles will come, you will have to Google it, ask colleagues, join groups, and eventually resolve it. One typical error, and maybe the most significant mistake a programmer might make along the way, is taking an extended break and then stopping to code. This is not what you can do. Take a rest for a couple of days, but not for months. You will surely forget how to code or how to write a computer program. It gets extremely tough in programming when you go out of practice for a year or so. Always keep in touch with it. Some basic tip: if you are stuck in a computer program trying to find the solution for a long time, just simply take a break, have some coffee, chill out for a few hours. Your brain may grasp some amazing unique concepts out of the thin air and you will probably be amazed by the capacity of your brain. Have a nice time, take care, thank you.